My name is Dr. Anita Quintana. I am an associate professor at the University of Texas at El Paso. I teach undergraduate and graduate courses. Some of the courses that I teach are developmental neurobiology to both undergraduate and graduate students, advanced scientific writing, and gene regulation. I've also taught introductory biology for many semesters, although that's not what I've been active in more recently.
What advice would you give to your undergraduate self?
The first thing I would say is that having a career in science is very rewarding and can be very fun. And it's something that you can take a lot of value in and you'll get a lot of reward back from it. But it's also very challenging. And so the advice that I would give myself when I was younger is to seek out mentorship and find some trusted mentors that can help you, not just while you're an undergraduate, but will also be dedicated to you over the course of your entire career. Because there's going to be highs and lows, and there's going to be challenges as you move through your career. And those individuals that have already gone through some of those challenges, they're going to be available for you to reach out. And also not to be afraid to reach out to those individuals. You know, just because you leave an institution or just because you leave a laboratory or a class, that it's always a good idea to continue to stay in contact with those individuals so that when those lows hit, that you can always reach out so that you can find solutions to problems.
What does your research focus on?
So my research is really a merge between human genetics and developmental biology. We focus on understanding how specific mutations that have been identified in patients with neurodevelopmental diseases, how they actually cause the disease. So we want to use zebrafish as a model system to study development after either loss of function or gain of function of a specific gene. And we hope that by studying these genes and learning about what they do during early development, that we can identify pathways or therapeutic targets that might be able to help with neurodevelopmental disorders in the future.
What type of opportunities are there for undergrads in your lab?
So my lab is at the University of Texas, El Paso, and we are a minority serving institution with a mission for access and excellence. So we have a real strong mission amongst our faculty, and especially in my lab, to give undergraduates a lot of opportunities to get into the research lab and learn from one-on-one mentoring from PIs and graduate students that are active. In my lab, students really learn basic molecular biology and early development of the zebrafish, whether that's just being able to look at the fish as they develop and learn specific structures, or if they're actually doing immunohistochemistry. I never put any limits on the types of projects and the types of assays that students can do in the lab. So I found that, the more that you show students, the more engaged they become, and that they've even become authors on manuscripts that we have ongoing in the lab.
How did you choose your field of study?
So I originally became trained in graduate school as a cancer biologist, really looking at transcription factors and how they bind to DNA and what changes, that could occur to the factor itself that would change the genes that it was binding to. It was really focused on genetics, but I could say that I was very fortunate to have many mentors as a postdoctoral fellow. And each time I had this co-mentored sort of environment where one of my mentors was an expert in genetics and one was an expert in developmental biology. And that was very fortuitous for me because it allowed me to sort of merge those two disciplines together and learn as much as possible about developmental biology and use the training I had in genetics to start to understand gene function. So I think that, I became a geneticist and developmental biologist, sort of like merging those sort of fortuitously, right? And it was through interactions with my mentors that helped me sort of eventually find my own niche.
What do you like to do outside of work?
So I would say that I'm much more than just a scientist. I'm a wife and a mother. And so most of my time is really dedicated outside of being in science to spending time with my son and my husband. I like the idea of being an academic, and I like being an academic because there's flexibility associated with when and how things get accomplished. And so that's really allowed me and enabled me to balance my life and include work-life balance and give my child and my husband enough opportunities whilst I'm still pursuing a career. So most of what I do outside of here is dedicated to my family time.